This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video March 27th.
Today on CityCast Philly, we really appreciate a local business that's doing good in the community. Today, we're revisiting a profile of Triple Bottom Brewing on Spring Garden Street. Not only are they brewing delicious beer, trust me, I checked, but through their 16-week apprenticeship program, they're writing what Tess Hart, the brewery CEO, calls a love letter to Philly. It's Monday, March 24th. I'm Trinae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about.
My name is Tess Hart, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Triple Bottom Brewing.
Nice. There's lots of breweries in our city. We are a beer city. What makes Triple Bottom special?
Yeah, I mean, I think Philly is so special because it's such a beer city, and that means that like customers have high standards and breweries have high standards. So it's hard sometimes to like carve out your mark when there's so many people making the same product. You know, beer is beer, even though there's so much variety within it. I think the thing that makes us really different are a couple of things. I think the experience you have when you walk into this space feels really different. People tend to walk in and be like, "Oh, this is a brewery," right? It's like vibrant and light and airy and beautiful.
It feels like a coffee shop too.
Right, yeah. It's got like a really different energy. It's a very low-key, chill vibe in here with a lot of art. And the other thing that makes us really different is that we're actually the only brewery in the state of Pennsylvania that's a certified B Corp. And what that means is we meet the highest verified standards of social and environmental impact. And for us, that's like how we do business every day. Is we are based on this idea that everyone in every community should have the opportunity to craft something great. We wanted to build a brewery that truly brought people together in the way that beer has always brought people together, but to do it in a way that's very like radically inclusive. And our employment model is sort of the core of that. Our employment model is as a fair chance business, creating jobs for folks coming home from prison or overcoming homelessness. And that has been the case since day one. And we just sort of expanded that by launching an apprenticeship called the Future of Service Apprenticeship. What we are doing through this apprenticeship is offering 16 weeks of paid on-the-job training and leadership development to people who are justice impacted or housing insecure, who we meet through some amazing nonprofit partners. And over the 16 weeks, they spend 2 days a week in classroom instruction and then 2 days a week actually in on-the-job training at Triple Bottom, right? They're not like off on the sidelines somewhere. They're in the heart of what we are doing here and working with our customers. And over those 16 weeks, they get more and more responsibility to the point where they have had a couple of nights where they have totally run the show. And they earn certifications that help them to get jobs. And that's all part of, you know, the idea that a brewery is part of its community and what can we really do to step up and be active and supportive members of our community.
Nice. So tell me more about this program. How do you find folks to be a part of it?
So we at Triple Bottom have always been really like based on partnerships. So even before we started this program, we still hired folks formerly incarcerated or overcoming homelessness and met them through nonprofit partners. We have some amazing nonprofit partners. I don't know if you've heard of YSRP, which is the Youth Sentencing and Reentry Project, Impact Services, which is doing a lot of gun violence prevention work in Kensington, and Phil Abundance Community Kitchen, which really addresses food insecurity, but also has this workforce training component that's amazing. And so those three organizations work with different people at sort of different stages of reentry or of navigating various other obstacles, and suggested to the people that they work with that they apply for this program. And so we actually, this is our pilot. It's the first time we've done this type of a cohort model, and we had to actually stop applications at one point because we had too many people who wanted to be a part of it, which is amazing. And we're really looking for folks who like are ready to learn a lot. We don't care what skills you have or what work experience you have, because that's all what this is about. It's just, do you want to really invest in taking the time to develop this new career path? And you'll be paid for it, right? Everyone here is getting paid for their time. It's a professional development thing. But we work really hand in hand with these partners to meet people and then continue to provide support along the way.
What's the age range for folks that are a part of this program?
It's a big range. Our youngest is 19, and our oldest is probably close to 50.
There are some members of the apprenticeship program filling out resumes right now in the space. Tell us about that. What's happening?
Yeah, so we're in the second to last week of the program, so it's all about what's next right now. So this morning we did a brainstorm of what are the skills that we can talk about that we've learned over the last 16 weeks. And we've been sort of slowly building out resumes over the course of the program, but we're really just polishing them right now and getting ready to send them out to a few of our employer partners who have come in and done presentations about what jobs they have available, or have invited us over to their spaces and talked about what jobs they have available. Because as much as I wish that Triple Bottom could hire everyone in this program permanently, we're still a small brewery, and so we can't bring everyone on to the team permanently. So we've been really trying to build out a network of people, other small businesses who are looking for like really skilled, highly trained folks at this point. I mean, 4 months of training is significant in any industry, and especially the hospitality industry.
We spoke with Shanoa McDonald just before she graduated from the program.
You know, just being completely transparent, I am a single mother, and it is pretty difficult. Life is hard. I've been in other programs. I've been in other programs over the course of my life, but none that has been paying us, and none that has actually gave us any clear direction. I can't say that I haven't gained any skills over my lifetime in those programs, because I have, but this is different in the way that I'm actually literally feeling like this is getting me somewhere. Like, I'm actually acquiring some skills. I'm actually feeling like, it's like a baby that starts to walk. I'm a grown woman, as but in the sense that, I should have been past this point, but, life takes us different places and everything. But it's like, I can do this. I can do this.
What do you tell the children when you come home about this program?
They know that now, do y'all want some things? Let's go. This is how, they could see me. They could tell the difference, because, first of all, I always explain to them that if you want something, you gotta work for it. They know that already, but the fact that they see it in action, not that they didn't before, but more so because I tell them about this place. Maybe they'll be here one day.
So after the 16-week program, what happens next?
They launch, right? They launch their careers. And all along we've been talking about their goals, and as they've gotten different experiences here in the brewery, some of them really dealing one-on-one with customers, some in crowds, some doing behind the scenes, some more customer-faced. And so what's next is helping to connect them to to businesses who will see those strengths. They've really gotten to learn what they're looking for in a job, right? So they get to have a little more agency rather than saying, I'll just take whatever I can get. And we will stay in touch with them to make sure they're hanging in there, navigating whatever they need to navigate, and we're there to support. But we'll also stay in touch with their employers so that their employers can know that if an unexpected challenge arises, they can talk it out with us, because we've been doing this for over 5 years now, and have learned a lot and made all the mistakes, and can help people navigate those unexpected things on both sides, both the employee and the employer.
So you mentioned that folks re-entering into society again often get no's, but you said yes. Why do you keep saying yes?
Oh my, so many reasons. I mean, Yeah, our director of education will tell you that like he applied for 41 jobs before he got a yes. And I think there's something so broken in the way that we as a society criminalize people, and even after they've done their time and done what our system says they need to do, we make it impossible for them to build back to a life that contributes to their communities and that they can be proud of. And so a huge part of this is just driven by me feeling like that's just wrong. And that there's so many people in our communities, and Philly is a hotbed of reentry. We have an extremely high rate of reentry compared to other cities, just in terms of like the prison populations around us. So there are so many people in our communities who are coming home and still being shut out. And then we see what that does to Philly, right? Philly is this great city, but it's also dealing with the highest poverty rate of any big city in the US. And if we want to change that, we have to start looking at the root causes. And the root causes are that our economy automatically shuts out a ton of people who have skills, who have drive, and who lose hope because they get those no's, right? And so if there are more people who are willing to say yes, that's going to ultimately cause like a seismic shift, I think, in Philly, and make it the place that we all really actually want it to be.
When we come back, what does success look like after this program? And what styles of beer did the cohort design? That and more after the break.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Empower. Claire is practicing her breathing for her upcoming yoga retreat in Bali. Has she ever done yoga before? No. But Claire worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Join our 19 million customers today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisor Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Om Namaste.
Can you kind of go over some of the week lessons that are part of the program?
Yeah, for sure. So in 16 weeks, we sort of break it into chunks of 4 weeks at a time is how we're thinking about it. So for the first 4 weeks, people are really getting acclimated and learning to trust us, right? There's so many people that maybe have extended help that have let them down. So we really have to earn the trust of the apprentices and also start building the culture around, communication and showing up. And, I think what I've seen over and over again, both with this program and then just in our work at Triple Bottom in general, is if people who are coming home from prison make a mistake in a work environment, they sort of assume that they're out, right? Because in past, people have just given up on them. And we don't want that to happen, right? We want to talk through that mistake and get to the other side. And that takes time and repetition. So
patience.
And patience, for sure. Mm-hmm. But we've sort of seen, if we can hang through those first tough, hard conversations, then we can go. We can do this together. So that first 4 weeks is really about that. And then we start with the really, more intensive job training. People are working behind the bar, they're working at farmers markets. So they do 2 days a week of on-the-job training, and then they do 2 days a week of classroom instruction. And in the classroom, we've had guest speakers come through talking about financial literacy, talking about mental health, talking about bystander intervention and sexual harassment, and really getting this well-rounded knowledge base for folks. And we've worked on scenarios okay, a customer says this, what do we do? Really running through that. And then in the second half of the program, we dive deep into certification. So everyone has gotten certified in Serve Safe and Responsible Alcohol Management, CPR, OSHA 10.
So, does the cohort get to brew their own beer?
They do, actually. Yeah, it's part of their sort of final project is that they have been, over the last couple of weeks, thinking about what kind of beer they want to brew based on all of the knowledge they've gained through this program about all the different beer styles. And they've designed their own beer. Our brewers got a recipe going, and we are going to be brewing it all together.
Well, you got to tell me, what is the style that they chose?
They are going with a very tropical IPA.
Okay, so what are those flavors?
They wanted like mango, pineapple, pretty sweet. We don't do a ton of super sweet beers here, but they really wanted it to be low on bitterness, high on sweetness and fruitiness. So that's what we're doing.
That's my kind of beer.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So after the 16 weeks, what does success look like for someone who goes through the program?
It's so different depending on each person and what they want to achieve. But I think, the recurring theme is long-term employment that respects them. I think, some people are like, I just want a stable job and I just want it to last. And some people are more, they've had some stable jobs but haven't felt like they've learned or grown or been respected. And so they're sort of looking for a specific culture that I think and I hope they've found here, and so learned that they can start to identify that in other places. And also I think, several of them will be involved in the next cohort in mentorship and training for the next group of folks who are coming through. And ultimately, everyone just wants to be able to provide for themselves and their families and be proud of what they get to do every day. And I think that's not just this group of apprentices, that's all of us. And so I think that's a huge thing that I find really motivating about this work is it's so universal, right? We all just want a job that makes us think that we have something to offer, and that gives us the security we need to then start to imagine and build and do whatever else we need to do in our lives. And I've had a job that helped me sort of change how I thought about myself. And I think there's so many people who never get that chance and who want it and who deserve it and who are willing to work for it. And so that's what this program is really all about.
You talked about just the importance of a program like this in Philly, and Philly is all the way through this building. It's on your logo and it's on the artwork of some of the products. Tell me about that.
I mean, this whole business is a love letter to Philly, right? It's designed to be a place where people from all across Philly feel welcome. And our team represents so much of Philly. We have artists and creatives and people who hold down day jobs and are scientists, and then people who are still trying to figure out how to make it work. And all of them are working together on this team. And that, to me, is so representative of like the grittiness and determination and amazing diversity of Philly. It's like this place has a different vibe. And that vibe is totally inspired by Philly. Like our can art and our names are Philly inspired. We have the lawn chair parking spot IPA, and we have the training montage IPA, which is based on the training montage scene in Rocky. But so Philly is the inspiration in a huge way, both the richness and vitality of Philly and also the struggles of Philly, right? And this place is a response to both of it. It's an answer to, what can Philly be when we shine a light on like all of its strengths and all of its creativity. And it's also an answer to, what do we really need to see here in Philly for us to get to where we want to be as a city, right?
If you are continuing your love letter to Philly, what would you write in it?
What I want to see for Triple Bottom is obviously that this program continues to grow, that we get more people into these cohorts and then out into the world in a way that they wouldn't have had a chance to. But I also want to see Triple Bottom get out into the world more. We have our home base here at 9th and Spring Garden, and it's beautiful, and we love when people walk into our doors. And we do farmers markets and some community events, but I think we can do so much more. I want to really lean into community partnerships and see how we can work to support other ways in which communities around Philly are celebrating, and we can help be a part of uplifting that. And we'll continue to brew new great beer and continue to have them be Philly inspired. But I think just building on this momentum of being a member of the community and thinking of the community as Philly at large, right? And how can we get out there and really help support a lot of the good work and a lot of the celebration and be a part of telling the story of Philly and communities coming together. And for us, beer brings people together. And so that can be our contribution. And we can do that in a way that also then uplifts people who have been underestimated in our city.
This episode feels like it's for a little bit of everyone. It can be for people who are beer lovers. It could be for businesses who are looking for new talent. It could be for folks that kept getting no's and want a second chance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think last week I received a letter from someone who's incarcerated but will be home, in the next year and a half. And he had heard about this program and just wanted us to be aware that he'd be coming home and to keep an eye out for him, right? And that was so moving because I think that maybe, he's got a little bit of hope of what can be waiting for him when he comes home. And coming home is really, really hard.
How does that make you feel when someone is literally telling you about that hope and that you could be a channel to usher in new opportunities that they may not have had before, and in a world where they're told no?
It's very humbling. It makes me want to keep going despite all the challenges that face a small business owner. It makes me mad that people get told no so much. It makes me want to change all of it, But it also makes me really grateful that we get to say yes, because saying yes has introduced us to so many amazing people and will continue to do so. And I'm just really honored to be able to work alongside them.
Okay, what's the popular beer here?
Oh, man. We have two MVP beers. Training Montage is one. It's a hazy IPA brewed in the Vermont style. So it's got this really balanced finish. It's super tropical and fruity up front, but then has a nice dry bitterness on the finish. And it's great. It's tastes way more flavorful. It tastes like it could just be your all-day beer on a summer day, but it also kind of packs a lot of punch with its ABV, so you got to be careful. And then our other popular is Good Attitude, which is a juicy pale ale, and so it's a much more sessionable beer, really citrusy, a little bit dank, great flavor, and people love ordering it because they love to say, I'll have a good attitude. And our bartenders have to pretend that they've never heard that joke before. But it is really delicious. It's super thirst quenching.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. It was great talking to you.
Triple Bottom Brewing is currently hosting its second cohort of apprentices. Check out the link in our show notes for their hours and special events. Since we originally aired this episode back in December 2024, Shanoa McDonald, mentioned in this episode, has now not only graduated, but is now working for a catering company here in the city. Congrats, Shanoa. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Listen, if you enjoyed this episode about how a Philly brewery is crafting a job skills program, tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. Bye.